Hi everyone. So I've been trying to come up with some topics that we could talk about, discuss. Feel free to comment. If this is on Facebook, comment below. I think I'll post everything to my Substack. It'll go onto my YouTube as well. So anyone that wants to subscribe, feel free. And I'm hoping to do some videos with a number of issues. I was trying to do some blogging, and time-wise I'm running out of time every week to get so much done, so I'm going to try and do some off-the-cuff videos with some opinions, opinion pieces, I guess, and I'm hoping to get a bit more interaction. I'll invite you all as well to Falcha Church. If you like what you hear here, then the theology here is what we preach on a Sunday, although we'll be more gospel focused on a Sunday than we are on our videos. So I've been thinking this afternoon what kind of topic we could look at and what we'd say that might spark a little bit of debate. I'm not sure if we'll get much debate on this one because I think maybe we're all quite agreed, but I thought let's talk a wee bit about the Guga Hunt. The men of Ness are being accused of cruelty, debauchery, and the argument really is a moral argument that the men of Ness are doing something immoral in going out in their traditional August hunt of the Guga. The Guga is a baby gannet. They go out to Sulashgar and they hunt the gannet. 500 the last time they were allowed to take, 2,000 they used to take. Gannet numbers, the argument goes, are so precarious, they're protected seabirds, and therefore this traditional Guga hunt needs to come to an end. That's what Abolish the Guga are saying. Now, for the Christian, how do we respond to that? Is the Abolish the Guga hunt right? I think it's worth considering, it's worth talking about. Some of us love our animals and we're into animal rights and we want to protect animals. Some of us might believe that the animals will be with us in heaven, the new heavens and the new earth. It's hard to imagine that we're not going to have animals in the new earth and the new heaven, but I think it's worth questioning what is the moral argument, what considerations do we have to have when it comes to this hunting of the Guga, and whether the men of Ness are allowed to go and hunt, or whether this Abolish the Guga organisation or the pressure that's coming from this group, which might be just one man, but it seems like he might have a little merry band with him. I think it's the fellow that stood in Edinburgh Central dressed up as a Guga that's leading this campaign, but I think there are others involved too. So what does the minister say to the idea that we should abolish the Guga hunt? Well, first of all, I want to say that for a Christian, our morality comes from the Bible. And when people are pushing for a moral decision to be made, when people are asking us to come up with a decision on whether or not this is okay or not okay, then the first thing we need to do is go to our Bibles, and we can do that, and we can even punch the word gannet into a search these days, and we'll get reference to the gannet. And the reference to the gannet is in the book of Leviticus, and after talking about fish and what kind of fish you're allowed to eat, the Bible then talks about, the book of Leviticus then talks about birds. And these shall ye have in abomination of the fowls. These are the fowls, these are the birds that you're not allowed to eat. They shall not be eaten, an abomination shall they be. The eagle, and the ossifrage, and the sea eagle, and the falcon, and the kite after its kind, every raven after its kind, and the female ostrich, and the male ostrich, and the seagull, and the hawk after its kind, and the owl, and the gannet, and the ibis, and the swan, and the pelican, and the carrion vulture, and the stork, the heron after its kind, and the hoopoe, and the bat. Every winged crawling thing that goeth upon all four shall be an abomination unto you. So there's our reference. You're not to eat the gannet. So what do we say to that? How come the men of Ness being a very God-fearing place, how come they eat the gannet? Well, the book of Leviticus was written, of course, to the Jews, and it was written as a guide for living well. Some people think that it's healthier to use the diet of the Jews, and therefore it might not be very healthy, the gannet, to eat. I'm not sure that's true. Mackerel, fish without scales are forbidden, but mackerel seems to be quite a healthy, oily fish for eating. I like some mackerel. And I don't like guga. The flesh of the guga is leathery. It's salted. It's not a lovely tasting fish. It's a delicacy, described as a delicacy because it's so rare to get to eat the guga, not because it tastes so good. That's my opinion, but of course that's a matter of taste. You'd have to talk to the men of Ness, who obviously love the taste of the guga, and that's why they want to go and hunt it. But that passage in Leviticus is gone. It's not over us. We're Gentile believers. We're not the Jews. And Paul in Galatians makes it very clear that the law has no hold over us anymore. We are free. We have had our freedom bought. And the Jews were being taught good and bad, right and wrong, evil and right, because they needed to know that they were sinners, and anything that could remind them of their sin. They were the special chosen people of God, and yet they were a broken people, and they were to be reminded that they were sinners that needed a saviour, so that they were always looking for the saviour, always looking for Jesus. And even just the reminder that these birds are forbidden was a reminder that humanity has gone wrong and got lost, and that we need a saviour. And Jesus is the saviour, and Jesus deals with the law so that we don't need to worry about these rules and regulations, because that law is gone. However, there are other rights, animal rights and human rights that aren't in Leviticus that we would consider right and wrong, even though we're not under the law, even though we're not under Levitical law. So how do we decide whether it's right or wrong to hunt and eat the gannet? Well, I think you would have to consider not just guga hunting. You would have to consider hunting altogether, whether it's okay to hunt. And one of the big differences between the abolish the guga people and the Christian, I would say, is that if you believe in evolution, and if you believe in human beings being just like the animals and worth the same as the animals, then I think you would have to be consistent on that and say, well, it's wrong to hunt meat, it's wrong to eat meat. Veganism would be a very good option, or at least vegetarianism. If you're going to have the opinion that humans are further evolved animals, then you might go down that route, and that would be quite legitimate. And it would also fall into place then that when you see baby gannets being clubbed over the head for a quick death, the hunt doesn't. There's not much of a hunt. But also the equating of babies. The Abolish the Guga keep saying they're killing babies on Sulashkir. Well, I would suggest that the people of Ness are probably less inclined to kill babies than a lot of people from all over this country. Our abortion rates are going up. Our views, our moral views on sexuality and so on are not. Where is our moral compass? We don't really follow a moral compass on these issues, and we're getting very confused. And I suspect that animal rights activists are usually left-leaning, and that the Abolish the Guga people would be okay with abortion being allowed in the UK today and in Scotland today. And so it's ironic that they would be using pictures of babies being clubbed and language like that babies are being clubbed to death in order to give an emotive argument to sway this discussion. But actually, they don't mean it, because they're okay with abortion. So that completely undermines that argument. But Christians as well don't believe we are simply more evolved animals. Animals are distinct from human beings. God created us separately. When Adam and Eve break God's law, the first thing they do is they sew fig leaves together to cover their shame, and then God comes and sacrifices an animal and makes clothing for them. And so the Bible allows for provision like that for us to be clothed. After the flood, Noah's given permission to eat meat, possibly not before then. Noah, remember, had 2 of every animal in the ark, but not just 2 of every animal, 2 of every unclean animal, and 7 pairs of every clean animal. So there were plenty animals for sacrifice and for food after the flood. So clothing and food is fine, and if there's no moral forbidding of the gannet in Leviticus, if that doesn't stand over us anymore, then I think we have to say hunting it by itself is okay. It's morally okay. Doing it for sport and for fun, I think maybe we could question that, and that's why there was a fox hunting ban brought in. But certainly hunting for food and clothing and provisions is justifiable in the Bible, and so therefore morally justifiable in the modern day. What we hunt, that's simply, we're free. We've been made free. Jesus has made us free. He's taken away these laws that forbade the eating of the gannet. It's a matter of taste, like I say. I don't fancy Guga right now. I've got some mutton in the oven. I'd far rather that for Sunday dinner. But some people in Ness especially, they like a bit of gannet for their dinner. So that's their prerogative, and I think that to me is the answer for Christians. We want freedom. We want as much freedom as possible. We don't want to be interfered with without good reason. Now, if the numbers are so stark that Nature Scotland wants to intervene and say you can't have Guga, that would be fine. That would be one thing, and we would say, well, maybe that's necessary. But it seems as though Nature Scotland aren't saying that. And if there is a problem with getting the licence this time, it's down to this public pressure, media pressure, same kind of pressure that affects lots of other things in life. Keir Starmer's under a lot of pressure to resign just now. His cabinet, they've a lot of them have caved to the media pressure. He's not caved yet. Maybe he's wise not to. Let's see. But when it comes to the licence for the men of Ness, morally, I don't think there's an issue. And I think as Christians, we want to assert our rights and we want to seek freedom as much as possible. And unless there's a grave reason to bring in the law against it, then I think the hunt morally should go ahead. Okay, that's our first moral issue that we're having a discussion about. If anyone's got comments, please make your comments, and I look forward to reading them. Bye for now.